All right, welcome. Hey there. Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of Bloomerang TV. Thanks for being here. My name is Steven. I'm the VP of Marketing over at Bloomerang. And today my guest, really excited to introduce Rory Green. She's a friend of mine on Twitter. We kind of got talking on Twitter, and she also runs a really awesome blog in addition to her day job as a major gift fundraiser. So, hey, Rory, thanks for being here. Thanks for chatting with us for about 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to. I love Bloomerang TV, so I'm very excited to be on it.
Oh, thanks. That's nice of you to say. So you're in Vancouver. You are a major gift officer, right? You have a day job as a fundraiser.
Yeah, I work at a university in BC, which is on the west coast of Canada for any American viewers. And I've done major gifts pretty much most of my career. And I love major gifts, but I also, kind of in my spare time, by night, am Fundraiser Girl, which is this kind of Tumblr blog that is little stories and observations about the crazy, wonderful, strange life that we have as fundraisers.
So yeah, that's a really good apt description for it. Every time you tweet a link to it, and I look at the animated GIF, I laugh out loud because my wife is a fundraiser, and a lot of them hit home really hard. So you have this awesome blog. What gave you the idea to start this? Do you think that like working in fundraising is particularly difficult, or there's maybe a lot of angst associated with some of your posts? Like maybe you can describe what gave you the idea for this outlet.
So I have always done fundraising. I've never had a career that's anything but fundraising. Both of my parents are fundraisers, so I grew up around fundraising and hearing a lot of stories about fundraising. I'm married to a fundraiser, so I have a lot of conversations about fundraising, and a lot of my very good friends are fundraisers. And I have been hearing, for however many years, the most hilarious stories about, because fundraising is a really unique, it's a lot of different things rolled up into one job. So we come across, working with donors, working with boards, working with program staff, just the funniest stories. And I wouldn't say that fundraising is harder than any other job, but what I will say is we don't get any representation in pop culture, right? Like if you're a cop, you have a hard job, but you can turn on the TV and watch 15 different shows about life as a cop and see yourself in those shows and laugh along with them and feel like you're not alone. But you have nothing if you're a fundraiser. So I wanted to create Fundraiser Girl as kind of a place where people could go, see their own experiences, laugh, remember, kind of share with colleagues when they're having a bad day, and mainly to be a confessional and a gathering place of these crazy, wacky, hilarious stories. And there's some stuff that I get that I can't put on the blog because maybe the language is a bit too inappropriate, or they're being really hard on a really specific donor or person. But it's just like some of the stuff that I get, it's just hilarious. I got one not that long ago about someone opening a BRE, a business reply envelope, and there was like hot sauce in it. And I just thought the concept of like someone putting hot sauce in a BRE and putting it in the mail, like I was laughing for like half an hour. So it's just, it's just an awesome, fun way to bring fundraisers together and get them to all tell their stories.
The no representation thing is really true. I had never thought of it that way, but that makes a lot of sense. And you're right. It seems like, I mentioned a lot of the posts are kind of funny and angst-filled, but there are a lot of weird things that seem to happen to fundraisers more than any other. I mean, I know every industry has weird things, but I couldn't make like marketing guy and have 10% of the hilarious content you do.
Oh, well, thank you. Although you should check out Clients from Hell. Is a marketing
that's true. That is a good one.
Yeah.
That is a really good one. So you mentioned as this is a gathering place, and you've really sort of generated an online community around this. So you're not only making the content yourself, but you accept submissions from people.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yeah. So I really believe that engagement is what your goal should be, whether it's working with major donors or working with people online or working with direct mail, is you want buy-in and you want people to take ownership of whatever the thing is. And to do that, you really have to know and understand who your audience is, right? You're not ever going to create a community that has every single person in it. So, take that time, and for me, it's mainly people who are Gen X, Gen Y. It's obviously people who are professional fundraisers. I'm not making the site for any office job or any marketing job. Get to know them, get to know what they like, and this is the key, I think, really, is when you get to know them really well, how can you add value for them? So everything you do needs to be about coming from a place of how do I add value to you? How do I, for me, it's how do I bring a smile to you? How can I make your day a little bit better? Maybe if you're a charity, it's how do I make you feel like a good person for the donations you've made, or, show you the difference your gift has made. But don't come from a place of I'm so great, hey, everybody, look at how great I am. Come from a place of, like, I can do something for you. And that's, I think, where I've gotten the engagement. And I started slow. I would put a GIF on Twitter and say, what makes you feel like this? Then slowly I'd kind of push actually submitting direct on the site. And I'm at a place now where I create very little of the content on Fundraiser Girl. I mainly just edit and curate it. And people out there are funnier than me. So it's been a real joy to kind of see this grow from something that I own to something I really feel like Fundraiser Girl isn't mine anymore. It really belongs to the community.
Yeah, I think that's probably why it's definitely why you've been so successful, is you've been able to create an online community around it and crowdsource the content. So I think it was a really sort of ingenious, mechanism, because a lot of people, they create a blog and they kind of toil over it, creating the content themselves, and they don't feel like anyone's really reading it. But what you've done, getting other people involved, what other kinds of ways have you built that community other than crowdsourcing the content?
So I think for me it's, I'm a big advocate of listening and give before you get. And I don't think that people, especially in sales roles, always do that very well. So instead of going on, so Twitter was kind of my main social media platform to build the community. So instead of just kind of tweeting and broadcasting, I would find people who are talking about fundraising. I make a lot of use of the Twitter advanced search function, which not a lot of people know about. So I can search people who are tweeting about Razor's Edge, who live in this area, who are using the words like angry, upset, whatever. And then I can, kind of share with them a post I've done about, like, getting really mad when a query crashes your computer. So look for conversations that are already happening, use the, like, wonderful free features that are out there, and then join that conversation and find ways to draw people in. So, if I really wanted someone with a lot of Twitter followers to notice the blog, I would maybe do a couple posts inspired by things that they've done or dedicated to them to get them to kind of feel flattered to want to share it out with their network. And that worked really, really well.
That makes sense. I love it. So obviously I don't think you would advocate a nonprofit to create a blog and just have funny GIFs about, their day in the life. Or maybe you would. That might actually work for some nonprofits. But what are some takeaways from your success that you think nonprofits can do when maybe they're creating content or going about creating a digital community?
Yeah, so I will say, like, Fundraiser Girl has a $0 budget. So I went from 300 to 6,000 Twitter followers in a year, and 3 site visitors to 1,000 a day in a very short period of time on a budget of nothing. So I think it's less about the money you spend and more about your dedication to doing things right. So like I said, knowing who your audience is, defining them, giving value to them, being interesting, and there's different ways you can be interesting, and I think emotions and stories, regardless of the kind of nonprofit you are the right way to do that. So Fundraiser Girl is very emotional, and the emotions are often angst, anger, sadness, frustration. But maybe for your nonprofit, your key emotions are happiness, joy, despair, anger, whatever it is. Make emotional content. People will resonate more strongly to if you're sharing emotional things than just kind of statistics and your strategic report and stuff like that, and telling stories. So whether for me it's stories of what life as a fundraiser is, but maybe for you it's going to be stories of the people you've helped, or stories of your amazing, wonderful donors, or stories of the dedicated program staff who have spent their lives working to make a cause better. So be emotional, tell stories, and tell stories that are going to resonate with your audience. So there's so many great free analytics out there. Twitter will tell you what your most clicked on links are. Hootsuite will tell you the same. I use Google Analytics for the site. So track what's working. So if happy stories are working really well for you, repeat that. And know that it takes, maybe you might have to share out the same story about 12 times for it to hit everyone, in every time zone at every time of day. So don't be afraid to keep reusing what's really working and what's really popular. Don't feel like it always has to be brand new content.
That's awesome advice. I love it. And I should say, I don't mean to paint the picture as the blog being a downer. There are some happy posts on there.
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
all razor's edge crashing.
No. Although I have to say, like, my most popular stuff is stuff about, like, dysfunction and being stuck somewhere dysfunctional, or feeling like, you know, your life is falling apart. Although Harry Potter stuff and cat stuff also does really well. So
Not surprised.
yeah, not at all. Yeah.
Well, cool, Rory. This was really awesome for you to share all that good advice. And we're going to link to the blog, but just so people know, where can they find that particular blog, which everyone should bookmark. They should make it their homepage, actually, because it's that hilarious.
Yeah, it's Fundraiser Girl, GRRL. I don't know if you can see the button. fundraisergirl.tumblr.com, or find me on Twitter at RoryJMGreen, and I am linking to it every day on Twitter. Yeah,
definitely follow Rory. Definitely bookmark that blog. It's hilarious. Rory, thanks for being on the show. Really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun, and we will catch everyone next week with a brand new episode. So thanks for watching. Check out that blog and follow Rory on Twitter for sure. So we will catch you next week. Thanks again for watching.